Claiborne County Sports Zone is at Claiborne High School for the Coach Lee Show. We'll be talking about two games this week. First is Unicoi. Claiborne played well against them, but not well enough. They lost 49-14. And we also talk about the very last game, the Gap game. They was fortunate enough to come away with a 34-0 win over a very good Panther team. So let's talk about Unicoi first. What did you see about Unicoi that kind of bothered your team?
Offensively, they're explosive. They've got really good athletes. They got a phenomenal quarterback. Really talented team on that side. Coach Ross has done a really good job over there with that program, building it up right. It seems like they've constantly got kids, rolling in and out, decent size. Their offense. It was a tall task. I mean, I tried to run scout team quarterback the best I could, and my arm was falling off by Thursday. But they've got speed. Like they have a really fast running back. It's hard to keep him in between tackles. If their offense is on the field a lot, then they're going to score a lot of points. When you have that kind of caliber kids.
Did you like the way that your defense planned for their multifaceted offense?
Yeah, we tried to. Coach West did a really good job trying to keep the cap on the offense as much as possible. We had a couple busted assignments here and there. They ran underneath us a couple of times. Good cutback from the running back. Fast kid. Stan McDaniel's pretty fast, but he's not the fastest defensive end in the world. He's still learning that position, getting better every week. It's hard when they've got athletes like that.
What do you think about your offense and how they attack their defense?
I think we had some mistakes, but they played fairly well. I was very pleased with how we did. We were methodical on offense, drove the football. The run game was starting to click. All of a sudden, Allen Earl was running like Coach West has been asking him since week one. Really, since in the summer, Aiden will always ask you, where was the hole at? Well, like you're too impatient. Like just be a little bit more patient for us. I was like, the blocks are getting there, and he it was the light bulb come on, and he was a madman that game. Super happy with the way he was running the ball. Line was blocking phenomenal. Can't say enough about those guys up front. We had a feeling after that Dobbins Bennett game that cause it looked like some things were clicking. And then, Unicoi rolled up and we drove the football well. Every time we threw it, we caught the ball well. They were executing like they're supposed to. It was very pleasing to see. We had a couple of drives where we should have finished, come away with points, come into the red zone. Had some penalties. We weren't getting a 40-second play clock. Don't know why. Talked to the refs about it. They said they didn't realize it. So it's hard to get a play. As soon as the play's over, you got 25 seconds to roll with it, like that. The quarterback doesn't have, coach communication in his ear, so I've got a signal play if we want to do any formation subs. So, every time we looked up, we had 5 seconds when we lined up, which, it makes it hard. But we should have come away with a couple points in a few possessions. At some point, that ball game should have been 28-28. We just shot ourselves in the foot and didn't, finish drives.
You also celebrated senior night.
Yeah.
What do you got to say about your seniors?
They're such a good group. I mean, I wish I had them longer. You hate that feeling when you wish you had them for one more year. Like what we could do next year if we had them boys back. But they just put their head down and worked. Every single one of them, we're losing a lot of good seniors, like seniors that play on both sides of the ball. We look to them to do a lot for us. Can't say enough about those boys. They fought so hard. Glad, we come away with a win last week, but, I wanted more for them, which I'll beat myself up for a little while. But, we'll miss them dearly.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the game you just mentioned, Cumberland Gap. Nobody at the start of this game knew what was going to happen. I mean, it could have went either way, we all thought, and your team come out and shut them out. Talk about what they did to earn that shutout.
Our boys, all week, you want them to be focused all week, every single game. But it was like the coaching staff knew on Monday, like, okay, like these kids are ready, they want this one bad. They're going to work for it. Didn't have any issues all week in practice. Kids were phenomenal, asking questions, soaking things up, really, doing what they were supposed to do all season. But this week, it had a little bit more to it just because it's an in-county rival. But was super proud of the way they prepared themselves. on Friday night they were focused as well. I mean, like you could tell, like just being around them, like they hadn't acted like that all year. Glad they did, but you wish you could do that for 9 other games. We get another opportunity to do it this week and play Pigeon Forge, but I think it was nice to see that light bulb come on and the kids just get focused.
First drive, coming the gap, they've done this all year.
Mm-hmm.
Right into the red zone, and it seems like sometimes they make it, sometimes they fail.
Yeah.
You forced a missed field goal.
Mm-hmm.
What was you thinking? What is your players and coaches thinking when they just drove the ball down the field?
Yeah, we kind of knew the plan was, Coach West had really great defensive plan in. We're going to keep everybody in front of us. They've got explosive receivers. We felt confident in coming up and tackling. Like our kids we got good tacklers on our team. You got Owen Stone playing corner, doing a phenomenal job over there. Noah Burke playing corner or safety, rotating back and forth. But they drove down and we were. Aiden Rourke was more worried about the pass than he was the run. And, all it took was Coach West to say, hey, run first, then go to pass. He's like, okay. And then, once we kept our linebackers, our 5 guys in the box, we were okay. They did a lot of good stuff coming up, dude. I mean, they'll take what's there. Like, they're not, like, we tried to limit the deep downfield shots, but they kept throwing little bubble routes, little short arrow screens. It was the right stuff to do. I mean, that's what we were giving them. But yeah, they drove down. Usually their kicker's really, really good. He can get a touchback. Props to that kid. He does a good job, in the field goal game. Don't think he's really missed an extra point all year.
Hall.
Yeah, Aiden Hall. Great kicker. Phenomenal. But yeah, they kind of went down, and when they missed it, we were like, okay, like now we can breathe for a minute. We'll make adjustments, and we'll go from here. And I think that's what we did.
Do you feel that game would have been different if they'd have punched one in?
I don't know. I think our kids are very, I don't know, like trying to look ahead. You can say what if this, what if that, but I think our kids were like that. It didn't matter. If they would have scored, my kids wouldn't have hung their head. They're ready to go. Every time defense went out there, they were excited. Offense went out there, they were excited. They're just ready to get after it.
Yeah, that's a tough culture when you're playing from behind about every week.
Yeah,
that's why I asked that question.
It's true.
Okay, talk about your offensive line to start with in the gap game. I could see some big holes.
Mm-hmm.
Were they just that fired up, or like you said, it just clicked on the Unicoi game, and what clicked?
Yeah, I think we the kids, my offensive line unit, like they're smart. Those kids, they're so smart. They communicate well. They are weight room strong. We got a big unit. There's some hogs, that's for sure. But like the combination of that and like with Aiden Rourke trying to figure out where the run lanes were and finally finding out where to hit this. Like they were asking, I just think back in the week, they were asking all the right questions because they were like, well, if they're in a 3-4, what if they do this, or if they bring 5 guys down, what if they blitz this linebacker, we just talked through all of it, and they run a lot of different stuff. Coach Nash does a really good job of trying to free up some kids, get a free tackler, get in, try to spill the football like he does. I was just proud of how our kids handled it. I mean, they communicated well. We ran some trap plays. We ran inside zone in our counters. Aiden was finding the right holes. But they were opening up, good running lanes.
What did you see as far as their defense, how that middle screen would be so effective?
We kind of put it in on Tuesday or Wednesday. We were sitting there talking, and
that was a nice addition.
I know we had talked about you kind of as an offense you want to break tendencies, and we typically anytime we're in a screen we have 2 receivers out there or 3 receivers, so we were like, why not just do it with a single receiver in the tight end? And Corbin Whitaker done a phenomenal job. He went to the corner, walled off the corner. We got flow going out. Chris Ford just played it extremely well. We rep tunnel screen all year, and it hadn't really ever looked that good. But I watched Caden Levin let it develop for a second, let eyes go out, flowing away, and then here come Chris or Fish, and just got after it. Our linemen are going upfield. I seen Stanton blocking somebody 20 yards downfield. I'm like, y'all done it great. I was like, we practiced this stuff all year. I wish we should have been this fine tuned week 1. Every team wishes for that. But they did. They picked it up well.
Talk about Rourke. When when he had a hole and there was a tackler come up, talk about some of the collisions that they got into.
Low man wins, and he's one kid that knows how to play with leverage. When he played defensive end, they say triple extension. From your ankle, your hips to your explosiveness to your shoulders. He understands it well. He may not be the strongest kid in the weight room, but he knows how to use his body. That's for sure.
And credit both teams. They were some collisions back there.
Physical. Cumberland Gap's known for being physical. We up front, we try to be physical, run the ball physical. And Aiden done just that. I'm glad. He fumbled on the first drive. I wasn't upset with him. We've talked about fumbles all year. I think he's got up to 4 or 5 now. Carries it like a loaf of bread. But he came to me and he said, "I'll get it back. Don't worry." I said, "I'm not worried about you." I was like, just let's take care of the football. Because I was 100% confident we were going to go march. The plan was we were going to stay in that one formation and run 3 plays, and that was it. And that's what we were doing. And if it was working that well, I was like, we'll stick with it, and we'll just go all the way down and score. And then when we get back up on offense, we'll change it up just a little bit. But we hit that counter. It was great. And then we ran it to the other side. And they did a good job of getting the ball away from him. But it didn't deter him at all. He was focused. He was, "I'm gonna get it back. Don't worry." And he did all night.
Yeah, they all run the ball well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, going in to halftime. Of course, they had the distraction of senior night, and you went in to the halftime with the lead, and end up losing the game. What did the coaches say this time, or did you have to say anything at all?
No, we had to. They learning how to play a football game is hard, but learning how to win is just as hard, if not harder. And winning the right way. And the kids were hooping and hollering, and I'm like, it don't matter. It's second quarter, they get 2 more quarters to play. It's 0-0. They may come out and put 20 points on the board, and we put none. And they win 2019. You can't let things like that happen. So we try, the locker room's not the guest locker room at both high schools isn't very big. It doesn't house many kids, so we just made the decision to sit, on the field and eat there and talk. And it was just, we separated them into pods by position group. Did an offensive time, defensive time, get off your feet. Kids got cold, so they started moving around. I was like, all right, as long as we can keep them on the right path and just keep, we changed some things defensively and offensively, just to take advantage of some things that we've seen. But they done good. They've done really well.
Okay, coming out of the break, you all kept succeeding. Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but it looked kind of easy to you. Was that because the defense was down a little bit, or was you guys fired up enough to, no matter what, you guys were going to win?
Yeah, I think
they had that feeling, or what was it?
The game had that feeling for sure for us. I think they had a couple kids banged up. There was some. Yeah. He was playing some young kids on the defense. And we talked about that. They were motivated. The kids were. They wanted it. I always tell them. For let's say for 48 minutes, you got to want it worse than you can breathe. You want to win the game more than that. And they did. It was just I'm just telling you, just see in their eyes. If you just walked up to the kids and seen that from Unicoi week to this week, there was just something going.
All right. Do you think that playing up like you did, not necessarily play, you played up some, but the district was so hard, and they were so lined up against you. The linemen were so much bigger and quicker. Do you think that was a learning tool to help you get through the Cumberland Gap game?
Yeah, I think so. I think, when you make a schedule, you kind of make it, in your favor. You want to try and get teams, you can compete with or, beat or, vice versa. But playing the Dobbins Bennett of the world, they're top 10 in 3 or 6A football. You got Happy Valley that's top 10 in 2A football. Unicoi County's up there. They're top 12, top 10. And that's a region game. Gatlinburg Pittman, I think, second in 3A football. You don't really kids didn't catch a break, all year. It seemed like it took us a while to get healthy. But once we finally started getting, we're late in the season and we're moderately healthy. Kids are not being banged up. They're a little sore. But we don't have any lingering issues. We got one senior out, but that happened a few weeks ago. But having Caden Lovin there all since he's been back, he's been extremely invaluable asset to us. But I think 100% it does. It makes a difference. Like we had teams, we played teams that were our competition level. We didn't win those games, and like that, a little frustrated at times. Thinking back, you don't want to think, oh, we should have done this or we could have won this, but like you take it week to week, and like you play a volunteer, they're good. We let Granger get the jump on us. They got a pretty good team this year, but it certainly helps like battle test the kids.
Yeah.
And they won't back down from anybody. They just we knew going into the year the schedule got harder, but it like I said, it didn't deter them. They wanted to compete the next week and win a football game.
Why was that ball game with so many yellow flags? What all was that?
I think a little bit of talking, and we told our kids they're not at zero tolerance. The refs are going to throw quick flags. They hear you say something, it's usually always the second person that does something, but the refs were listening. They were actively listening. We try to.
But it's not just those kind of fouls.
Right.
It was the like offsides.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh God. Yeah, that was. I was going crazy because we were trying to get we wanted to be antsy on the ball, try to get after them quickly, but oh my goodness,
quick to the ball but don't hurry.
Yeah, they did it 3 times in a row, and I was like, we called timeout because Coach West was like, "Do we chew him out?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." It's like we called timeout, and he's not really a yeller. But when he's upset, the boys know. It's like all right, and he just started laying into him. And I was like, all right, get him. I was like, you get it. And he told him, he's like, this is it. You stop this now. Like, yes sir. So, but yeah, that was the stupid penalties like that. Oh, I can't stand them. It makes me so mad. But self-inflicted stuff. That's the stuff you want to kind of minimize. Which it didn't affect us offensively too much. We had a couple issues on offense, but they bounced right back.
All right, let's put that one in the memory bank. You got Pigeon Forge this Friday. What are you looking for?
They're they've had a tough year. Beginning of the year they struggled here and there. They seem a little young in some spots, but here as of late they have turned it on. I mean they have a kid that their quarterback. He's their quarterback now. He didn't play quarterback early in the year, but they put him back their quarterback. Every bit of 4.5, 4.4 speed, and he gets a crease. He's gone. Got a quick first step. Trying to limit his keep him in a box per se, and just flow to the ball. Keep our linebacker. Our linebackers are pretty disciplined, but he's turned it on for them. They beat Cott County. I mean, he had 400 rushing yards that game, 450 rushing yards. I think in the past 3 weeks he's got 12 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards rushing. I'm like, good Lord, man. I've talked to my buddies. I have a buddy at Cott County. He's like, dude, he's special. He's like, we didn't help ourselves out. He said, but that kid's fast. He's like, I've got athletes. He said, we can't keep up with that kid. And I was like, awesome. I was like, it makes it a little bit hard sometimes. Game plan. Coach West is definitely stressing a little bit, but I think he's got a good game plan in. We're gonna make some adjustments here and there. We're anticipating 2 different things. But we come out, we'll see how they play. And defensively, they're a 4-2-5. Our offensive line loves the forefront. It's one of the most things that it's the most common things for them because they understand. If I got a 1, a 3, or 2 2s, and they communicate really well through it. They've got some pretty good athletes, pretty decent defensive end, a linebacker. Not a bad football team, but it's definitely something if we do what we're supposed to, there's no reason why we can't win.
Is their offense an RPO type offense, or would they rather rush? Or?
They'd rather rush. They don't really run too many RPOs. They put that quarterback. They'll go in empty, which is we've seen an empty buck sweep team week 1, and it makes it hard when they've got good athletes. But they just get that quarterback back there. They'll send a short motion and try to reach everybody and go outside. They'll run buck sweep. Power, trap, counter, but they just they want 11 to get the ball, and I 100% understand him. He's good.
If they use that as a deception, How does the corners match up with their wide receivers?
I think we match up pretty well. We had talked about running some man coverage and, like spicing up just a little bit, but I think we're just going to stick with what we're good with. And, Noah Burke's done a phenomenal job out there in the secondary. Owen Stone's,
Yes.
Owen Stone's.
They both have, yes.
They've really, took advantage of that and ran with it. And, we had Caden Vlad have some pretty good reps at corner. Sean Vlad's got some good reps. Colton Brewer's, started pretty much since week 1 for us on defense. Very, very happy with how those guys have played recently. And, Caden Williams is playing on defense some too. He's done a phenomenal job as well. He just picked it up like that at Chucky Dope. We just Coach West threw him in there, and he just, was communicating, talking through it, what we needed. And, they've really, if they were playing like they are now against Chucky Dope, it's a different ball game there. But
I want to go back to the Cumberland Gap game just for a second. After the game, y'all huddled up on the field, and what was it that you told the team about it being all about them?
Yeah, they worked for all of it. They got to understand. We're the coaches, we're on staff. I've got a phenomenal group of coaches, but it's them. They're the ones that put the work in. They're the ones that all the work they put in. They get the results that they want out of it. Or not necessarily that you want, that you earn. You earn everything you get, and it's one of football is the greatest relationship between a sport and life, because if you don't work for anything, you're not going to have anything. You're going to have to put the work in, be a good person, try to get better every single day, and that's what they've done. And week to week, that's all we can ask of them.
All right, let's hope you have that conversation after this game Friday. Good luck at Pigeon Forge, and we're proud of what you've done. We're also proud of Cumberland Gap, how they turned their season around. Football may be looking up in this county.
Yeah.
Just thanks for always doing these shows. I appreciate that. We got probably one more to do.
Yep.
I've enjoyed it, and I think the fans have enjoyed looking into your program.
Yeah.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.